Alright, hello everyone, Dark Humility here in closed beta season 10 with a brand new mini guide and demo. This one is quite interesting and even has two primary weapon options. This is a Twister Proc Fury Druid. Now, what's interesting about this Twister Proc Fury Druid is that Fury really isn't most of your damage, it's actually the Twister Proc. But Fury, of course, procs things very fast by simply attacking quickly, and by going near monsters with the Innocence rune word, you will proc as many Twisters as you possibly can. Of course, there's another pretty prominent option on this build besides Windhammer and double Carrion Wind, which are essential components to the build. There's also the rune word Wind. The weakness of Wind, though, is that on a shapeshifter, it only gives you 40 attack speed, and you need all of your attack speed on a weapon on a shapeshifter to effectively deploy this build. So what does that mean? Well, you can't attack very fast, so maybe the procs might be more limited, or you might be even more dependent on monster density as you try to maneuver through the monsters and proc your abilities. The benefit of it, though, is that even though it has less chance to proc Twister and it has a lot lower attack speed, it also procs Tornado as well on striking. But we're going to do the Windhammer version here, and we're going to show that one off in this demo, so you can do either one and choose for yourself. This is a build that I actually perfected myself. Now, of course, the Twister Proc Fury Druid has been around for a long time. Can't claim to have invented it. However, I can claim in this season to have created a version of it of which I believe is incredibly strong and actually relies a lot more on the Twister procs than it does the Fury. I feel like most builds that have made something like this is basically a Fury Druid that also has Twisters. This is a Twister proc Fury Druid. So we'll go into it and of course get into it as well. So the Mad Lab definitely bringing you some fun stuff here, and we'll show you guys what I've come up with. So cool build for the Druid, of course.
I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this Forsaken camp.
Yeah, I think the Twister proc version is better. I think the Wind rune word is definitely something you can do, but maybe not quite as good, so I'm not going to show off that version. Jetty Blue, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the Cult of Xanadru's Day. That being said, it's not bad, and Tornado keeps getting buffed, so hey, maybe someone will prefer that version of it. Just have to throw it out there. Anyway, let's go over the stats, skills, gear, and then give you guys some demos of this insanely interesting build. So, strength, you want enough to wear your gear. You want enough dex to hit decent attack rating, around like 9,000, 10,000, or you want to get your dex through like max AR GCs instead of shapeshifting GCs. Either way, you don't have to put any dex if you do that, so it kind of depends. And then you put the rest of your points into vitality. Solid stuff. Res, good for surviving. Since you're going to be weaving in and out of monsters, you definitely maybe want your res at least a little higher if possible. That being said, Fury Rage is Feral Rage, sorry, is incredibly good at sustaining you and keeping that faster run walk up, which makes this build incredibly effective and fun. Now what we're going to do, of course, is talk about some other things you might want. So damage reduction is obviously good if you can get it. On hardcore, you're going to want a lot of damage reduction for sure. Hit recovery, at least 42, 46 can be pretty good. Run walk, get it up there. Now this is the important stat. You really need a ton of attack speed, and it has to be on the weapon. There are attack speed calculators out there, like the Path of Diablo one, which I do recommend, that will tell you exactly how it works on the shapeshifting Druid. Now PD2 in the advanced stat sheet here, which is I just press the 8 button and get to it. The advanced stat sheet do show you attack speed frames for almost every ability except for shapeshifting abilities, so you're still going to have to use that calculator for that one. It depends on the weapon speed, and then all the other fun stuff. But for the most part, almost all of your attack speed, if not all of it, is on the weapon. Fanaticism can maybe help out with 1 frame, and that's it. And that's not super helpful. So you're going to want something that's really fast so that we're moving through monsters and also attacking them fast to increase the frequency of the procs. Procs are most of your damage on this build, just keep that in mind. Crushing Blow, not super important. Deadly Strike, not super important. Most of your damage is physical caster damage. It's the Twisters themselves, which are level 30, and level 35 respectively. You're going to want Mana Leech and Life Leech. Most of the Life Leech is going to come from Feral Rage, but you can also get it elsewhere on your gear. And then you have Mana Leech as well. Alright. The basics have been gone over on this build. So in order to do a proc build effectively, if you're not aware, including if you're wearing equipment-based auras, you want all the synergies for those auras, or you want the damage boost to those auras like Fire, Light Mastery. In this case, it's synergies. And we're going to be taking, of course, Maximum Tornado, Hurricane, and Arctic Blast in our skills, which are all the synergies for Twister. So the Twisters from our procs are fully synergized as long as the procs are on the same source as where the synergies are. If they're on the Mercenary and you max these out, it's not going to work. There you have it. So then you're also going to need, of course, I put one into Werewolf and Lycanthropy, and maxed out Fury. Now you could do this a little differently. You can max out Fury and max out Feral Rage so you can get a little bit more damage onto the Fury. I was just getting more, I focused on more attack ratings, so I maxed out Heart of the Wolverine and got some Vines. But remember, your damage on Fury is not super important on this build, so just keep that in mind. Also, one thing to note is that you have really good splash radius, which allows you to hit and proc more things more effectively already, just built into the Fury skill itself. So you don't really need more like on Ursa's, particularly on Fury. That's more of a Maul approach, but that could definitely help. And of course, make sure you're using Feral Rage and Fury, and you're running in between the monsters. Now the Mercenary on this build is actually particularly interesting. So most of the time on a Fury Druid, or even a Fury Proc Druid, a lot of people would say you should go damage auras. I actually say screw that. That's actually not where most of your damage is on the proc version of this build, and I can prove it when I actually show it to you guys. What you mostly want actually is going to be Amp Proc, Battle Cry Proc on striking, of course, and then Innocence procking it even more frequently when your Merc goes in. The Whirlwind Merc himself also procs Battle Cry just by casting it oftentimes. So there's all these different sources of Battle Cry and Amp on the Mercenary, which are going to reduce the enemy monster res, which is going to make the Twisters shred them. That's what you really want to go for. Whirlwind Merc also is unique in that he actually goes into the monsters in front of you oftentimes, and he goes deep into the monsters, getting those procs deep throughout them so the Twisters shred them even from a distance. This is very good. Of course, if you also get sustain and survivability gear on the rest of the Mercenary, that's pretty solid stuff. Also, I guess I'll make him go fast so he can keep up with me a bit. You can get more PDR, of course. There's always different things you can do on the Mercenary to make them survive or whatnot, but Innocence plus Cyclopean on striking, and of course I like Cranium Basher. You could also use Gavel of Pain for this, that'd be pretty good, and you could also get a pretty similar result. Alright, and of course that version of the Merc does Battle Cry and Bow, so don't worry about might or concentration or anything. That is how you get your Fury damage high. My Fury damage, you know, I got some damage here. It's like 7k, and I have 3 FPA because I'm using a fast weapon. So we got those frames per action, really fast attacking. But that's not really the core of the damage. So Windhammer is mostly for proccing. We're going to use this thing for proccing. It's fast for proccing. It's going to be good for that. I also told you guys about Wind. Wind could be good mostly on an approach where you don't even use Fury. Probably when you just run around in circles, just running into the monsters, face planting with Feral Rage or something. And then, yeah, and just getting the tornadoes and the twisters off of that. That could also be effective. You also have Innocence, of course, on myself, because in addition to my own attacks, we get more for when the Blade Shield procs them. We're going to use Jalal's just for survivability and some extra shape-shifting skills. We're going to use Atma's because guess what? In addition to the Twisters, I can also proc my own Amp. So if I'm proccing amp and my mercenary's proccing amp and battle cry and the whole screen, the twisters are going to get hit. We're doubling up on the amp. They're going to get soul drainers for negative physical res. Very important because twisters are physical damage. We're going to get, of course, string of ears, which is going to give us DR. Carrion winds are essential to the build as they have more sources of high-level twister on proc. We have Gore Riders, of course, to help me do a bit more damage. But honestly, you could go Myrmidons, you could go defensive boots. There's a lot of things you could do. Because it doesn't really matter as much that your damage isn't, as high. Your fast run walk should be pretty good. Shape-shifting, fast run walk GCs, FHR, life, whatever you want to do. Druid, Annie. You do get a lot of fast run walk from Feral Rage, but fast run walk is very important on this build to weave in and out of the monsters. You have life and all res as well down there, and you can get fast run walk and all res in addition to that. Alright, let's do it. Let's crush it. Let's show you guys what this is capable of. This is my own personal take on this meme. I think most people have told me that the guides definitely focus more on the Fury aspect of it. But in my case, like when I tested it, it felt like just if you wanted to go a Fury Druid, the Fury Druid was always straight up better than the Proc Fury Druid. So why not just go Fury if you're going to go Fury Druid? Just use something like a, just use like some really high powerful weapons like Hellslayer, Tomb Reaver, all those things, upgraded Warlord's Trust, whatever you want to use. It could even be a Windhammer, but then, just go damage auras and just stack damage. Could be even like Bariza, whatever you want to use. I mean, you can do anything, but you may as well, in my opinion, though, you're definitely going to want... On this, I don't know. I just feel like, if you're going to go Twister proc, you should go Twister proc. Make that amp count, because auras don't help physical caster abilities like Twisters. They don't. They don't do anything. The only thing that helps is anything that drops physical res. So that's Battle Cry and Amp on PD2, and also any items that grant it, like this one. Here we go. Let's do it. Look at that. Heck, even without the amp, it's pretty devastating. I love it. So, notice how the Mercenary, notice how I heal up really well. Notice how the Merc is proccing all that battle cry, all that amp. It's making the cows absolutely get eviscerated by the Twisters. I'm using Windhammer. Yeah, you want 155 attack speed, by the way, on the Windhammer to get the max frame if you can. Ethereal ones actually can't do that. So unless they're going for damage, you probably just want a non-eth one, but even on damage ones, it's still possibly better. It's definitely competitive, let's put it that way. Ethereal is nerfed in PD2 anyway, so there's definitely a lot of particularities there. Let's gather up as many cows as I can. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah. This is incredibly fun. This is why I'm showcasing it on my YouTube here. A mini guide and demo. And I'm actually proud of the fact that I actually came up with the Mercenary build and everything for it. The standard build is pretty similar to what most people do. But most people won't run a Mercenary like this on it. This is actually this is out of the lab, guys. This is one of my own concoctions here. And remember, you can go Wind Runeward too, and then you don't have to rely as much on your own procs, of course. But, you know, it does help to be able to attack, because notice I'm getting a lot of procs off my attacks, obviously. When you're stuck inside of cows, you may as well attack anyway, so... I don't know. Stuck inside the middle of packs and whatnot. Definitely, definitely. Alright, let's go do another map here. I'm having way too much fun, though. Let's go show them off in some other ones. Let's see. What would be a good one to do? I guess we could do Pledgeathon. It's pretty open. Throne's good too, but Throne can be a little dicey sometimes. This isn't like the tankiest version of the build. You can always solve that with corruptions or things that might be difficult to get in closed beta. But this version of the build is just, you know, run and gun, damage, good stuff. You can of course focus more on your own fury damage, obviously. You could get like Cerevis Bite, you could get a lot of things. I kind of just like the approach where you're mostly attacking fast and consistently and running throughout with all the twisters or the tornadoes if you're using wind, and you're kind of just attacking. I think that's pretty good. Alright, let's go. Look at that, man. Look at that. Notice how the Innocence itself isn't like insanely effective. Like, yeah, it's proccing it here and there, but yeah, that's why the Innocence plus the attack speed is really the key here. That's why wind can be a little problematic, I think, but I mean, you could definitely do it though. Because like, you can't get the attack speed on the weapon height enough on that thing. I do mention it though, because it's technically the other way to do this, so. I like to give people options, you know. More density the better, more procs you get. Out of all the proc meme builds, I feel like this one's really consistent. You know, you got good survivability. It's actually not too much of a meme. It's got pretty solid clear speed. It's not just a fortified mapper like standard Fury. Yep, absolutely. This is a fun build. Let's do one more map here, just show it off real quick, and then that'll be it for the mini guide and demo for the Twister Proc Fury Druid. We will be, of course, giving away some more, one more Steam gift card later. I think we're even going to be giving away something bigger as well. I'm not sure, though. Need to get confirmation from Lucky Luke. One person will receive an insane prize, I think, potentially. That's if they want it, though. And then we have some other shit going on as well. All courtesy of Lucky Luke, of course, though. Not affiliated with you know, I don't even normally do this stuff, but you know, he really wanted to do this for the community upon hitting 1,000 subs. I told him like closed beta was probably the best time to do it because well, we have a lot of hype for the next PD2 season in my stream. You get a lot of eyes on my stream while I'm doing all the crazy testing stuff, and it's been good. Here we go. Glover music? No, no. Not during the YouTube videos.
No! Hylena!
No, no. No Glover music. Oh, this says souls. Oh boy. Alright. Sure to get that feral rage up, of course. Ah, never mind. The souls are weak. They can't handle this build. They can't handle the truth. No, they can't. This map is negative res too. Oh no, I'm at like 58 light res. Souls are pretty tough to deal with with like low res, let me tell you. See, even when I run ahead of the Mercenary, like I have my own amp too, so. Bro, I was like spazzing out, bro. Oh, nice. The Merc actually helped a little bit there. Get that battle cry on him. Yeah, maps that are too linear, I don't know if the Merc is too good at. That's why I try to get him some movement speed, but he's helping a little bit. Yeah, you know, if I get stuck on something, he'll catch up. Flying through the sewers. Alright, and that'll be it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the mini guide and demo for Mr. Twister Proc Druid Battle Cry Amp Mercenary Proc Edition. Let's get it. It's been labbed out. Dark Humility over and out from the lab, the Mad Lab. You know what it is. Season 10 is coming October 25th, and of course the tier list, the late game mapping tier list and infographic will be released by myself on the YouTube channel probably sometime on the 23rd. I will see you guys later and crush it. Let's get it. Thank you so much, Garroll, as well for the Prime. You guys have a great one. Crush it in Season 10. See you guys in the next one.